I remember years ago, and I'm talking like a decade ago, when I saw the proliferation or the beginning of the proliferation of what we call digital, which I'm not even sure, I think a lot of us say the word digital doesn't mean anything, but film on a screen that wasn't television. And I went to one of my creative directors and I said, can we just go to all our clients and say, no matter what screen the film is running on, that we are the best filmmakers in the industry. We tell short form stories for brands better than anybody. And at the time the response was, that's not how that new media is going to work. Jump ahead 12 years, when I look at most of the most successful pieces of creative running on platforms like Facebook, it's just great film told in amount of time that people can snack, you know, and pick up during whatever they were meant to be doing during the day. So I actually think that it's not that scary. If I would say anything, I think that the unlimited use of time scares me more than the challenge of it. I think that we used to say things when we worked in 30 and 60-second formats that oftentimes there would be the director's cut and it was too long. You know, the discipline of telling a story in 15, 30, or 60 actually made us better creatives, because you had, every shot had to be of importance. It had to move the story along. And so my biggest fear is that not having time limits will make us more flaccid storytellers, that we might not be as disciplined in our choices. And so I'm interested to see that. I do think that time is one of our most valuable resources, and we as practitioners of storytelling and short form communication should never, ever, ever apologize for being able to do it very quickly. So as an art form, I hope that we don't lose that discipline, because it's very difficult to do what we do with short form brand storytelling. I call where we are today water cooler on steroids, because we always had people saying they liked our work or they didn't like our work. And usually, you know, you knew if you were being liked because, you know, we called people and said, do you remember seeing this ad? Did you like it? You know, it was just a slow form of a like or share button. You know, people being, you know, in bars or in offices and saying, hey, did you see this funny ad, or did you see this thing? I mean, we've always been sharing the stories. We just have never had it easier. So in some ways, we might want to be careful about what we consider amazing because it's being shared, because it doesn't take much effort. Versus 20 years ago, you had to memorize the entire story and tell it to somebody and act it out. So you really had to embrace it, you know, 20 years ago. The thing that I'm the most excited about with these social platforms, is the ability to give the story over to people and let them be your advocates for your story, give them a way to participate. And that to me is the biggest difference. Is before, when people are saying you can't just talk to a consumer anymore, or a person or a viewer, okay, but that's not a negative, that's actually a positive, because we tell a beautiful story, but then if we could go one step further and tell people how they can take that story and make it their own, contribute to it, it gets even more exciting and more dynamic. So that's what I don't think the film part of it has changed terribly much. The things that people were attracted to 60 years ago are still valuable, but imagine all those films having a participatory piece, whether it's an action, an ask, or just a way for people to tell their story on top of your story. That gets exciting for me.